So the Republicans have a climate change plan, Jesse.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
U.S. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy from California and House Energy and Commerce Committee Republican Greg Walden from Oregon have introduced climate change legislative proposals.
Okay, what is it?
They want to plant 1 trillion trees.
Okay, that sounds good. What else?
And they want to give a tax credit for carbon sequestration.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Oh, great, you say?
Well, yeah, 1 trillion trees. That's a lot.
Well, let's look at the fine print.
Okay.
3.3 billion trees a year for 30 years. So you won't get your trillionth tree for 30 years. And when you do it, it's going to be about this tall.
So I'm going to be 55.
Yeah. You can wait, right? That should solve the problem. Oh, but don't forget the tax credit for carbon sequestration.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So they're gonna give you a tax credit if you sequester carbon. That's great.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good, except that what it actually means is they're going to be amending tax code 45Q.
What does that mean? So, like, if I plant trees,
no, you're not up on your tax code. 45Q. You don't study your tax code.
No.
Well, what this actually means is that they're going to be giving oil companies a bigger tax credit. It was $10 a ton for enhanced oil recovery. But under this bill, it would go up to $35 a ton by 2024.
I don't understand. So wait.
Oh, you don't understand?
No, but carbon sequestration means you take carbon out of the air and you don't put it back in the air. That's it. Like, that's the simplest version of it.
Oh, yeah,
right?
but 45Q doesn't allow us. Like, let's say we came up with a machine tomorrow that sucked carbon out of the air.
Right. Such machines do exist.
Yep. We wouldn't get the tax credit because we have to produce oil to get the tax credit.
Wait. No, because we're sequestering carbon. So
nope, that's not what this tax
put
credit
it in
said.
a little box and then
nope, carbon is injected back into existing wells, a process that increases the volume of oil and allows producers to extract more oil.
Okay, wait a minute. Carbon sequestration means that you
I know what
carbon
it means,
out of the air,
but that's not what this is. This is a lie. This is a sham bill. This is a bill that makes it sound like, oh, great, carbon sequestration tax credit. But what it is it's a tax credit for oil companies. Oh, and ethanol companies. I forgot. Ethanol companies can also get more money if they sequester some of their carbon. Now, I'm not against sequestering carbon, but this is only a tax credit for those companies, and that's why the Republicans are backing this plan. And they're covering it all up by saying that we're going to plant trees.
1 trillion trees over 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the average American is going to hear this plan and be like, wow, trees, that's great, which it is. Trees are great. But that's just the cover story for the rest of this, which is let's give our buddies in the oil industry a tax credit. That's their big plan.
So you take carbon out of the air.
Yeah.
And you put it into some kind of liquid.
Well, so as you frack oil, you use all this fracking water to get the oil out of the ground. When you're done, you have all this water left over, right? If you put some of that back into the well, back down underground, you get the credit, and you make it sound like you've sequestered a lot of carbon, which you really haven't, and it seems like a win-win, right? But it's not.
Because you're getting more oil out of the ground, which then you burn, and then it negates any sequestration that you did to begin with.
But you did fill up your bank account with more money.
Look, if you're a Republican voter out there and you're listening and you're like, does this sound good to you? Go, leave it in the comments down below. I'm sure someone is willing to yell at you. But secondly, if it sounds bad to you, I'm not saying you have to vote for a Democrat. I don't think that that's what you should do. I think that you should, first of all, just contact your representatives. Let them know what you think and then see how they vote.
Yeah.
Gather a bunch of yourselves together and ask your representatives.
You know why that doesn't generally work?
Why?
Because you don't have enough money. Right. The oil companies have more money than you, and they're the ones who are going to get the Republicans reelected. So even though you call them up and you complain, they're like, oh, thank you very much. Hang up.
Right, and then they'll vote the way that the lobbyists want them to.
That's why we have to change government. We have to take money out of elections.
Thanks so much for watching this Now You Know clip.
Head over to Now You Know channel for full episodes of Tesla Time News and In Depth.
And if you want to treat yourself and your family to something amazing, check this out.
Jesse and I have been enjoying Masterclass, where we've been learning all sorts of fun topics from the masters themselves.
Yeah, business leadership skills from Bob Iger. Yeah, that Bob Iger.
Jazz from Herbie Hancock.
Basketball from Steph Curry. Yeah, that Steph Curry.
and so many more.
Click the link down below to support our channel and experience what it's like to learn from the masters at Masterclass.